I grew up in a atheist family. I love my family to death, and I'll admit that they made it a point to never introduce religion. Well, it's not a religion, it's a relationship with Jesus Christ. But they were very against it, and they still are on me to just be a better example, to keep praying. But at the same time, there are also a lot of generational curses. Now, that led to eventually my parents getting divorced, and instead of really using that as an opportunity to grow, I mean, I was only like 15 at that point, 14, 15. I turned to bad habits like porn, like weed, like surrounding myself with bad influences really just to cope. And I like to I liked to live in a state of, oh, it doesn't bother me. But really I was just coping with negative habits that, because I was depending on them to find that escape. And instead of seeking God, it just became way harder to break later on. And I'm going to get into that. Essentially, after years of just, being in high school, messing around, that's really where I experienced the degeneracy the most, of just being around bad influences, partying. I began to not have an interest in that around the age of 16. I actually started my self improvement journey. I was, getting into the gym. I was even getting into meditation and new age spirituality. That was a big period of growth, but it was never sustainable. And I would always be on and off consistent because I was doing it for my own glory. I was doing it for superficial reasons, and there was no deeper meaning behind it. Like, I still had that void inside of me that needed the Holy Spirit to fill, needed that love instead of trying to fix the internal with the external. So just doing it for the wrong reasons. And that theme continued, of trying to heal the internal through the external, through online entrepreneurship. Now, I started off with drop shipping, with trading, with agency, but because I still wasn't the version of myself that was required to succeed with it, I just kept beating my head against a dead horse, beating a dead horse and failing over and over and over again. I'd even taken a year off of school, which I really just got prideful and cocky. Like, yeah, I'm going to kill it. I'm going to get as rich as possible, just doing it for all the wrong reasons. And the more I failed and struggled financially, the more my parents would just, of course, tell me, point out the obvious of just like, you know, what you're doing isn't working, et cetera, et cetera. But that just led me to a deep, dark place where I never faced the internal that was stopping me from succeeding, and that I was really trying to heal through external, superficial pursuits. And the more I failed and realized that that wasn't my way out, like just getting on and off self improvement, being inconsistent, breaking my word to myself, and failing online business because of a lack of consistency and discipline, it just forced me to face those demons that I was trying to escape, those generational curses. And that's really when, you know, I had to face my demons instead of trying to escape them through external superficial pursuits. And it was tough. It was really tough, just going through a period of low self esteem, of depression, of anxiety, and really just hitting rock bottom. So I rejected Christ at first, but as I saw my closest friends around me turning to him, I just started to get more and more curious. Like, I remember back in 2022, one of my closest friends, my guy Max, he was on a similar journey. Reality's a mirror, so you're just going to attract people who are just like you. So he actually went through a worse time than me, came out, was preaching Jesus. At first, I wanted to just, build onto my own superficial and my own religion, and not submitting to a higher power like God, like Jesus Christ. I rejected him. I rejected him at first, even fast forward a year later, which I gave my life to Christ in 2023. But before that, I saw more friends turning to him, more friends who were going through the similar, same struggles as me. And I rejected him at first. I still wanted to believe that there was a God out there, but that there was no truth to religion, that it was just used to control, because I really just didn't understand it. I did not understand a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. But when my friend, my guy Eduardo, who I actually have a podcast with, we randomly met at 10 a.m. in the morning. And this was when he was really new to his journey with Christ, really new to his walk with Christ. He prayed for me in his car when we met by complete chance. We hadn't been talking that much during that period. And, when I first met him, I was like, when I first met up with him that day, I was like, oh man, he's going to talk to me about Christianity. I'm not trying to hear any of that. He's trying to force this on me. But when I finally opened my mind, opened my heart, when I opened the door to Christ, like, he prayed for me, and I just felt the most overwhelming feeling of love that literally washed away. It's that feeling, and I know a lot of you who've already given their life to Christ. It's like, this is what I've been looking for. No other external pursuits, nothing else in the world can fill the void in my heart than Christ. And so, I was really on fire at first. I wanted to read the Bible, which I'd never stayed consistent with until a certain point. But I thought that my life was going to get perfect. I thought my life was going to get easier, but it just got a lot harder. And that's just the reality of the early walk of, if I wasn't going to church, if I wasn't going, like, surrounding myself with like-minded Christians, if I wasn't reading my word, I had to learn the hard way, and I did. So through the early sanctification period, I just had to face my demons more than ever. And I got more depressed. I got more anxious, more low self esteem, more entrenched in my addictions. And again, my life got a lot harder than it got easier. But what it taught me was to seek God first, I remember I was at rock bottom. I was smoking weed in a park and, skipping everything that I had to do, still unemployed. And I just felt like I had suicidal thoughts. This was early in my walk with Christ, like suicidal thoughts, like, what's the point of me being here? I feel so depressed, facing the demons from generational curses and not doing any habits that would actually improve my well being. It was the lowest point of my life in every single area. But the only thing that brought me out was I felt a voice. I heard a voice of, come to me, my son, just follow me. And I closed my eyes. I visualized Jesus standing right in front of me. And instead of reading the scripture, that's how I really learned that you have to cling on to Christ, hold on to his hand, seek him first, and he's the only way out. Instantly, I just felt an overwhelming wave of love and peace and joy, just washing away everything, all the demons that were trying to keep me in that lowest place of my life. And it was really only through Jesus, not through my self-improvement journey, not through online business, not through new age spirituality. Literally the only thing that got me out of the lowest period of my life and got me to really take my goals more serious, getting back in the gym, all the habits, was the level of forgiveness and mercy and grace and love that God had for me. That sacrificial love, and he sacrificed himself for me. Every single time I remember that, it's like, no matter what I've done, he still has that sacrificial love for me. So through that, I was finally able to, you know, dive back onto the right path of shifting my identity, of overcoming my addictions, of fixing my mental health. And as I drew closer to Christ and started reading my word daily, started to surround myself with like-minded, growth-oriented, a brotherhood. And now the three keys that really got me out of this were a brotherhood, the gym, and the Bible. Those are the only things that got me out of the lowest period of my life. So through that, I started to surround myself with more fulfilling relationships. I started to live every day with a meaning of purpose, fulfillment, and growth. only through Christ. Literally washing away every struggle, every demon, every low frequency thought and belief only through Him. And so I'm still obviously strengthening my faith and improving daily, drawing closer to Christ. But my mission now that I've underwent that evolution in every area of my life of just getting my life back on track, and it was just so inconsistent before Christ. He wasn't going to let me succeed without Him. So really just focusing and feeling called to bring that transformation to other like-minded men, to provide them with the brotherhood and supportive community that I never had because I was all alone, bringing them closer to God, helping them experience that purpose, fulfillment, and growth in their daily lives, and really just being able to guide other men through the same transformation. Because I know that, especially if you stuck to the end, you relate to my story. You might be facing those demons, that sense of unfulfillment, directionless, and addictions, poor mental health. And I really just want to guide other men who are struggling with those things along the same journey. So if that's you, if you want to get closer to God, find that purpose, fulfillment, and growth that's only achievable through Christ, and taking care of your well being and mastering your mindset, shifting your identity, then join the eternal brotherhood below. Hit me up on Instagram. Before you join my community, which is like 45 per month, just for that really focused one-on-one support, group calls, a full course that I'm building out. I want to chat with you in my DMs. I really want to just get to know you, connect with other men who are on that same journey that I had to overcome. That's truly what I feel called by God to do, to share my testimony and really help you guys out. So if that's you, feel free to join the brotherhood. We're really locked in, striving towards our purpose, but feel free to hit me up. My DMs are open and really want to get to know your struggle and see where I can help out. So God bless you. I hope that this video brought you closer to Christ, really showed you the way, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless you.